What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another Battlefield 6 gun guide. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the second SMG of the series. This is the SCW-10. And starting it off, as always, let's have a look at our raw power potential. And this gun has a rate of fire that's a little bit below average for an SMG in this game at 799 rounds per minute. However, it deals a ton of damage up close. We actually have a 3-shot kill potential out to 9.5 meters, which results in a ridiculously fast time to kill at just 150 milliseconds. This is the fastest killing full auto gun in the entire game, at least within this short range window. And so when it comes to raw power, at least up close, this thing absolutely excels. Although even at a distance, this thing maintains a great time to kill potential, even when you're getting to like the 5, 6, or 7 shot kill range. As for headshots, generally speaking, they're not really worth going for, and right up close, you can't get a 2-shot kill unless you're using the hollow points ammo, in which case you can. If both bullets hit the head, you can get a 2-shot kill for a 75 millisecond time to kill, which is nearly instant. As for ranges, we have a standard range profile here for SMGs, but as I said, this is the fastest killing up close. It's the only one of the SMGs with a 3-shot kill potential to the body up close. So that's pretty crazy. Also, you might notice some of these values are a little bit different than the previous gun guide, mainly just looking at the ranges where it's a 7 or 8 shot kill. And this is just due to the fact that my formula didn't get updated on the SMG section in particular to account for the really strange way that they round damage values in this game. It's not what you'd expect, and you can't really take the damage values at face value. So that has now been corrected, and these are the accurate values. Then let's get into our muzzle velocity, which is a bit on the slow side, even for an SMG at just 428 meters per second. So this is an area that may hold you back if you're trying to stretch out and like tap fire at really long ranges, and definitely something to be aware of. Next, we have hip fire, and it's the same as all of the other SMGs, and that means it's great. This thing is excellent at hip firing, outside of the fact that it has a very small magazine capacity, but we'll look at that in just a little bit. Now let's get into recoil. And this gun does have the highest magnitude of recoil. Also keep in mind, we're firing half the amount of rounds as most of these other recoil plots, and yet we're still seeing the highest magnitude with half the number of rounds. So this absolutely has by far the most recoil in the SMG category. And on top of that, there is a fair amount of spread with this. So absolutely something you want to be aware of. Generally speaking, you're going to want to keep yourself right up close and personal. Although I have found, even stretching out to range a bit, if I'm taking an enemy off guard and it's not a face-to-face fight where they're also shooting back at me, I find that I can be fairly effective with this just due to the raw damage output of this gun. You can essentially ignore this recoil pattern by just tap firing the gun. Now, after that, let's get into our handling stats. And with this, our aim down sight and sprint out time are just standard for an SMG. However, our magazine capacity kinda sucks. It's only 15 rounds by default. It's the smallest magazine capacity out of all of the SMGs by default. And at most, you can only get up to a 25 round mag, and that costs a lot of attachment points. So no matter what you do, you are going to be quite limited in your magazine capacity. And not only that, to really rub salt in the wound there, we have quite a slow reload on this at 2.6 seconds by default. So this is a huge factor to consider while playing. You've got to reload essentially between every kill. I mean, sometimes, yes, you can get 2, maybe 3 kills out of a magazine, but that's often pushing it. Typically, I find myself just reloading after every kill just to play it safe. And that's the one big element that keeps this gun in check, because if that didn't exist and it had a standard like 30 round magazine, this would probably be the best gun in the entire game, just due to its raw power potential. In either case, let's have a look at our mobility stats, which are standard for the SMG category and quite good in this game, toward the top of the list. And this just leaves us with our REDSEC stats against 2 armor plates. This gun is going to be a 6 to 13 shot kill. And with that 6-shot kill, right up close and personal, we once again have an insane time to kill potential, all things considered here, at just 375 milliseconds. To my knowledge, at least, that is the fastest time to kill you can get in REDSEC, at least with a full auto gun. But of course, keep in mind, that's got a very short range potential to it at just 9.5 meters. And also, you're very limited in your magazine capacity. So if you're whiffing a bunch of shots with that, you'll often find yourself having to reload in the middle of a gunfight, which can, of course, get you killed. And with all of that covered, we can now move into a couple excellent attachment combinations I put together for you guys. And the first one is my preferred build. This is my all-arounder. So with this, we're using my preferred optic, which is the OSA 7. We've got the standard suppressor on here to stay off the radar for any enemies that are at least 15 meters away from you. We've got the extended barrel on here to boost our muzzle velocity a bit, so I feel a bit more comfortable tap firing at longer ranges. We have the canted stubby on here for our underbarrel, and that just reduces our recoil noticeably from the base. We've also got the 20 round mag on this simply because the 25 round mag is way too expensive at 45 points. So we can actually afford the 20 round mag, and it actually makes a big difference having those extra 5 rounds. I don't feel quite as paranoid while using this. I don't feel like I have to reload after literally every single gunfight. So that helps quite a bit. And then finally, we just have the standard ammunition on here. So as the title of this one suggests, it's just a nice all-arounder. Although in saying that, I still want to try to keep myself generally up close and personal, where this gun really shines in the time to kill department. But as long as I'm tap firing, I feel reasonably confident handling some gunfights at longer ranges as well. So that is my preferred build. However, I did want to share just an alternate build. And this one is fairly similar. We've just made a couple adjustments here. So I'm still using the OSA 7 optic. Since this is a closer range gun, I don't like using anything that's a higher zoom than that. And that is my favorite low zoom optic. We have the CQB suppressor on here just to make sure that we maintain some hip fire ability with this while also staying off the radar. We once again have the extended barrel. That one just seems kind of like a no-brainer on this gun. We have the classic vertical this time, which helps our recoil a lot more than the previous build, and you can see that in the comparison as well. This time we're using the 15-round fast mag, which does improve our reload time. It cuts it down to 2.3 seconds, which still isn't an incredibly fast reload time, but it's at least more manageable than the base reload. And then finally, we've got the standard ammo on this. And like I said, this one is just an alternate build. I definitely lean toward the first one, but if you're looking to get a little more accuracy out of it and you want to maintain some hip fire accuracy, this allows you to do that a little more effectively. You're just not going to have that really nice 20-round mag on. And there we go. That is going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the SCW-10. And when it comes to my thoughts on this SMG, I really enjoy it for a change of pace because it's just so dominant in close range engagements. But in saying that, the lack of versatility can get quite annoying with that really small magazine. And I just find it breaks up my flow far too much. I'd love to push a lot more and get like 3, 4, 5 kills with a single mag. And that's just not viable with this particular gun. And that's something that really holds me back from being as aggressive as I'd like to be. So it's got that weird dynamic where raw power-wise, it should really heavily support aggressive play, because as long as you get yourself right up close and personal while being aggressive, you're gonna be practically untouchable in a gunfight. But the problem there is after every kill, or sometimes two, you have to stop and get a reload, and you can't keep that pressure on. You can't keep pushing. And if you run into too many enemies at once, well, you just can't really handle that fight. You might want to try to peek and kill one at a time, but more often I find myself just having to disengage because I know that while I can definitely kill 1 or 2 of them, it's highly unlikely I'm going to survive that situation after those 1 or 2 kills, because I'm going to be practically defenseless with an empty mag against the remaining enemies. And in this game especially, I really don't like relying on my secondary weapons since they tend to be quite weak. So as I said earlier, that magazine capacity just really keeps this gun in check. I think it's necessary to keep it in check, but it's also another thing that kind of pushes me away from using this gun. As much as I'd really like to use it more, it just doesn't feel versatile enough for my taste. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts on the SCW-10, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this gun in those comments down below. And as always, I am open to suggestions for the next episode, so let me know which gun you'd like me to cover next. And if you guys have missed any of the previous ones, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.